If I could only pick 5 exercises to eliminate your shoulder pain, these are the ones that I would recommend. Today we're talking all about shoulder impingement. That's what the majority of shoulder pain comes from. And basically that's a fancy way of saying a crowding in the shoulder. You have the head of your humerus that has to sit in the socket of your shoulder blade. If it migrates a little bit or it's not in the right position, it can cause impingement or pinching of this tendon right here across the top. It gets pinched in the roof of your shoulder blade. This is primarily due to 2 things. It can be the position of your shoulder blade. If it's tilted forward, if you have bad posture, there's less room here in the front of your shoulder, and weakness in the rotator cuff. And so if the rotator cuff isn't holding the head of the humerus in the right place, that can also contribute to pain. To test this out on yourself, let's do 2 quick tests. I want you to stand with your shoulders rounded forward, try to reach over your head. You probably can't go very far, and there's also probably some pain to it. Straighten up your posture, stand really nice and tall, and then try to lift over your head again. Your arms should go a lot higher, and it should also help the shoulder to feel better. The other test that you can try is with your hands, bring your thumbs down into this position. Now try to raise your hands above your head. Same thing, you kind of get blocked, you're limited, it might be painful in your shoulder. Now try it with your thumbs up towards the ceiling. It should move a lot further and you should feel a lot better as we clear more space underneath that shoulder blade. And so to treat this condition, there are 3 things that must occur. We have to improve the position of the shoulder blade, so we're going to stretch through the front of the chest and strengthen the area between the shoulder blades to keep them in a better position. And then we also want to strengthen that rotator cuff to hold that ball down in a better position in your shoulder socket. That's what we're gonna do with these exercises today. Hope this helps you out. Let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do is stretch those areas that are tight. Again, if posture looks like this, it's the chest, the shoulders, and the internal rotators that pull us into this position. So our first step is to get out of that position and then strengthen in that new range of motion. So this is the stretch that I like for that. This is going to be a doorway stretch performed in my squat rack. You're gonna find a doorway, works just as well. 3 places that I like to stretch with this. The first thing we're gonna do, hands low at about hip level. Put your hands on either side of a door frame. Really good posture, chest up nice and high, chin up nice and high as we step into the door frame just until we get a good, comfortable stretch all through the front of the chest, all through the front of the shoulders. And I would hold that for about 20 to 30 seconds. Now I'm going to come up a little higher. So now the hands are about shoulder level on the door frame, and then repeat the same thing. Really good posture. I'm going to step through that. You're going to feel that stretch your chest in a little bit different location. Hold that for about 20 seconds. And then the last thing that I like to do is add some external rotation to stretch the tight shoulder internal rotators. The way we're gonna do that is get into this position with my entire forearm on the door frame. Squat rack's a little bit wider. You should be able to get those forearms onto that door frame. Now in this position, we're gonna step forward and then rotate, kind of bend your chest down towards the ground a little bit. I'm trying to stretch my shoulder back into this position right here. So you'll feel it through the front of the chest, a little more in the shoulder as you do that. If your door frame's a little wide like mine, you can also do this one at a time. So I'd put this forearm against the side of the door frame here and then push into it and then rotate down a little bit as well, just until we get, again, that good comfortable stretch right there in the shoulder. I would hold that for 20 seconds as well. So 20 seconds in each of those positions, but then I would also recommend that you repeat that a couple times a day. Now that we're all stretched out, let's move into step 2, which is strengthening to your postural muscles. These are the 2 exercises that I love to do that. What you're going to do is lay down on your stomach, and the first exercise we're going to do is target our lower trap muscles, or the muscles kind of lower on our back between our shoulder blades. We're gonna do an A exercise for that. So lay on your stomach with your arms to your side, bring your arms out slightly away from your side. First step on this is I want you to lift your chest up off of the ground, and you should feel those muscles right under your shoulder blades activate to get up into that position. So we're gonna bring the chest up, and now with my hands, I'm gonna lift those up towards the ceiling, but then also push down towards my feet. And so I'm lifting up, I'm extending at my shoulder, but then I'm also trying to push down towards my feet. And again, what you should feel with that are those lower trapezius muscles really going crazy with that. I would hold that for about 3 to 5 seconds and then repeat that for 10 repetitions. If 10 feels okay, 2 to 3 sets of 10 is a great number to shoot for. The next progression to this is we can hit the middle traps, so the muscles that are right between your shoulder blades, with a little bit of some rotator cuff strengthening with an exercise called a W. Lay down on your stomach again, arms are out in this position on the floor now. Step 1 is the same. I want you to lift your chest up off of the ground. When we get here, now what I want you to do is try to pull your elbows down and back, tuck them into your back pockets, and then lift them up towards the ceiling. And when you do that, again, it's those middle trapezius muscles right between your shoulder blades is where you're really gonna feel that. Lift your chest, tuck those elbows down into your pockets, try to pinch your shoulder blades together, hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back down. 3 to 5 second holds. And I would recommend that you do that one for 10 repetitions and then repeat that 2 to 3 times. So those are the 2 postural strengthening exercises that I like. Now to move into step 3 is going to be rotator cuff strengthening. The exercise that I love to do that at home would be a side-lying external rotation. And so I've got a small dumbbell here. You can also use a water bottle or a can of some sort, just something small that can add a little resistance. If it's really weak, you might not even start with any resistance at all. The other thing that I have is a small rolled up towel. I'm gonna tuck that right between my elbow and my side. So the first step is I'm going to lay down on my unaffected side. So I want your painful shoulder to be up. That small weight, water bottle, soup can, whatever, is in your hand with the towel between your elbow and your side. We're gonna keep the elbow at a 90-degree angle and then use the muscles of your rotator cuff. You're gonna feel this right back here in the back of your shoulder to pull the back of your hand up towards the ceiling as high as you can comfortably take it. Hold 1, 2, and then slowly return right back down to that starting position. So it looks just like that. And again, you should feel that right in those external rotators, right on the back of the shoulder. Make sure you go down nice and slow. We're focusing on form throughout this exercise. Really a great one, really one of my favorites. I do this one regularly. And so the recommendation here is about 10 to 12 reps and then repeat that for 3 sets. Finally, exercise number 5 is one of my favorite for shoulder pain. These are going to be sword raises. Now you're going to need some resistance bands for this. If you don't have some or if you don't have access to one, check the link in my description. I've got some linked down there. The idea behind the sword raise is if you take your thumb and you point it straight up, we're going to put it down into the sheath or the scabbard or the pocket, the holster. What do you call that thing down there? You're gonna tuck that thumb down, so we're gonna internally rotate, put the thumb down this way. Now we're gonna bring it up and raise the sword triumphantly up and over this way. So we're combining this elevation with external rotation motion. You're really gonna feel that in those rotator cuff muscles. And so here I've got my band anchored. I'm gonna start in this position down here with my thumb towards my pocket, pull over and across your body while raising that thumb up towards the ceiling into that position right there. We're gonna hold 1, 2, and then nice and slow return back down to that starting position. So we're gonna pull up, hold 1, 2, and then return nice and slow. Again, this is a great way to train that rotator cuff because it does make it a little more functional. We're combining rotation with some abduction, with some elevation. It just creates a much more functional pattern for us to train and strengthen in. If you find that it's painful, especially up here at the top, it might be because you're a little too high with it. If that's the case, I usually tell people try to finish at about eye level to start and then just see how that feels. And typically what I recommend is 10 repetitions and then repeat that 3 times. Now, if you need more help with your shoulder pain, I've got you covered right here on Tone and Tighten. Check out this video for more. Subscribe to my channel when you hit this circle right here. I'd love to see you back for more videos. I hope this helps your shoulder to feel better, and I hope to see you back here soon.